Hello everybody, and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearance of the Week. This is Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. We'll be giving you all the first appearance in your comic shops today. Now this week we have a pretty good lineup for you guys. I think we have 5 first appearances, 3 honorable mentions, so 8 titles in all to go through. Definitely some books in there worth picking up for your collection. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearance of the week ending June 9th, 2023. First up from DC Comics, Static Team Up Anansi number 1. This features the first appearance of Anansi in comic books, previously introduced in the Static animated series. Now, people already know who this character is. They have already introduced this character into the animated series. Now they're actually kind of going back and retroactively introducing the character in the comic books. Typically, it works better for long-term value for collectors and investors if the character is introduced in the comics first, and then later on goes on to do something on a small screen or big screen. But the fact that people already know who this character is, we really don't know if people are going to go back now and get the first appearance of this character in comic books. It's a little overkill at this point. So this one here is definitely going to be speculative if you choose to pick it up. It might be worth doing so. Static does have a fan base and a collector base, and this is the first appearance of this character in a comic book. So it may be worth adding to your collection for a couple bucks. You definitely don't want to miss out and chase it down later for a lot more money. So pick this one up for a spec bet if you can. If you can't, though, put it on your B-list and address it later on. Next up from DC Comics, Steelworks number 1. This features the first appearance of Sean Carey, later becomes Silver Mist. Also features the first appearance of Charles Walker III, a businessman and antagonist of Steelworks. Now this is the premiere issue of this new Steelworks title series for DC Comics, so it's hard to say how important this particular series is going to be, how important these characters are going to be going forward. This does feature a few first appearances though, and like we always say, for the cover price, it's often worth speccing on these first appearances. DC doesn't have the track record that Marvel does with bringing these characters to the big screen or small screen. That definitely gets more eyes on these characters. People do race back and get the first appearance in the comic books. Having said that, for $3 or $4, maybe worth specking on. If it goes somewhere, you're sitting on a winner for $3 or $4. If it doesn't, you're out $3 or $4. So in our opinion, the reward outweighs the risk. So grab this here for a spec bet if you can. If you can't, though, put it on your B-list, but keep an eye on this one. Next up from Marvel Comics, Deadpool Battered Blood number 1. This features the first cameo appearance of Shatterstorm on the final page. Now, the Deadpool franchise is probably one of Marvel's stronger modern franchises. That character hugely popular, huge fan base, huge collector base, and the fact that they're introducing a new character on the final page of this particular issue, probably worth picking this one up. We always recommend picking up the first appearance of characters in Marvel titles, just because, Marvel Disney is still churning out a ton of media, whether small screen or big screen, and, you really don't know where any of these characters are going to appear. If they do hit a streaming series or a feature film, people do often race back and try to find the first appearance in comics. Now, this is the first cameo appearance, not the first full appearance of Shatterstorm, but still probably worth picking up for your collection. Go ahead and grab this one. Next up from Marvel Comics, Groot number 2. This features the first appearance of Oggs, a monster that destroyed Groot's homeworld. Now, the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, hugely popular, huge fan base, huge collector base, and especially since Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I think it's still in theaters. People do love this franchise, and Groot is one of the fan favorite characters. And the fact that this particular issue features the first appearance of Oggs, the monster that actually destroyed Groot's homeworld, so this is one we do think you should pick up. And finally, for Marvel Comics, Star Wars number 35. This features the first appearance of Dr. Quata, an expert in kyber crystals that power lightsabers. This also features the first appearance of an unknown female Sith. Now this one here is definitely worth picking up for your collection. You want to get any of these Marvel published Star Wars titles that feature the first appearance of new characters. Disney Marvel is still churning out a ton of media for the Star Wars franchise, and you really don't know where any of these characters are going to end up. Now if you look back over just this past year of some of these first appearances they've introduced in these Marvel published Star Wars titles, these things have become huge in the secondary market. So it's always worth picking these up for the cover price. For $3 or $4, you could be sitting on a huge winner. And if they go nowhere, it's probably still worth $3 or $4. So there's really very little downside risk on this. So this is one we definitely think you should pick up for your collection. And now for the honorable mentions. From Bliss on Tap, Mark of Death, Year of the Rat number 1. A man finds himself a pawn at the center of a brutal war, where an evil rebellion has broken every rule in the universe. Now, Bliss on Tap is a small publisher, so they're definitely going to have lower distribution and lower print runs on this book. But Hollywood has been farming these small press and indie publishers for content, and a lot of these books are getting picked up in option for small screen and big screen projects. So if this one gets picked up, this is going to be huge because, like I said, it is going to have a low print run and low distribution. Bliss on Tap is not on everybody's radar, and I'm sure a lot of comic shops aren't going to carry this. So this is definitely going to be a little tougher to find. So in our opinion, this here's a great spec bet. Has a lot of factors going for it. The story sounds like it translate very well to a small screen, big screen project. It's going to have lower distribution and lower print runs than a lot of other houses. So this one here, we do think you should pick up for your collection for a spec bet. Grab it if you can. If you can't, though, put it on your B-list, but definitely keep an eye on this one. Next up from Image Comics, In Hell We Fight #1. 3 teens condemned to hell hook up with a demon to hijack a delivery truck for an epic journey across the underworld filled with non-stop excitement, danger, and adventure. Now once again, this sounds like it translates very well to a small screen and big screen project, and Image Comics has had a lot of their titles picked up and optioned in the past. And like we always mention, that's a huge price driver for these indie and small press publishers. If these titles get optioned, they do blow up in the secondary market, and they do become harder to find. Once again, this will be a speculative bet if you choose to pick it up, but like I said, it's probably worth doing so for the cover price. Grab this in here for a spec bet if you can. If you can't though, put it on your B-list and keep an eye on it. And finally from Scout Comics, Sudden Death #1. A man's immortality results in fame, fortune, and hopefully a second chance for his family, but behind the scenes, a detective works to unravel the dark mystery behind the supernatural gift. Now this one here does sound like it lends itself very well to a small screen or big screen project, and this here has a kind of a portrait of Dorian Gray sound to it, so this one here has a great potential to be option, and you know Scout Comics has had a lot of their titles picked up and optioned in the past. So this one here, in our opinion, is a great spec bet. Grab this one here if you can. If you can, put it on your B-list, but definitely keep an eye on this one. So there you have the 8 titles we have for you guys this week. There's definitely some books in there worth picking up for your collection. So please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.